Good morning. I'm up early getting things ready for our holiday party, for our company Christmas party. Welcome back to my channel. The last couple of videos that I put up, or at least the last video I put up, was finishing off my ice lanterns or ice luminaries. And there are two videos on my YouTube channel showing how to make those, how to finish them off, and what they look like. So for those of you that are in warmer climates or it's not quite cold enough to make the ice lanterns, I just happened to have a few days where it was cold enough that I could make them. They didn't end up quite as thick as I wanted them to be. However, they're going to do the job and they're going to be beautiful. What I wanted to do is give you an idea, again, if you're in a warmer climate, of something you can set out on your front porch or in an entryway to a party, that kind of thing. I have a lot of, if you can see in the background, I have a lot of cylinder vases. I used to own a flower shop, so kind of held on to those just to have and use, and I use them quite often actually. So what I wanted to do is give you an idea of how to make some luminaries that will work in warmer climates. You can just use the glass itself, because some of them I'm going to just do glass because I like the difference in texture, the nice clean, clear, and then but what I'm going to do is wrap one of these. I already have some of them wrapped in craft paper, and you can get these cylinder vases. You can go to your local florist. You can go to Michael's and just get like 3 different heights or sizes. And then you can also get smaller rolls of craft paper, the brown paper like this. I happen to have a big roll with a cutter, 1,200 feet or something like that, going down the basement stairs. So I can just reach up and grab off and pull. But what I do is I measure the height of the vase, and then cut off just enough paper. Now, I did one of the other ones, and it just happened to have enough that I could do this vase. It's going to be tight. It doesn't wrap quite all the way around, but it's still going to do the job. So what I do is you can fold the paper over. I'm going to put it a little closer here. You can fold the paper over like this. But I find that when you turn the luminary or the lights on or whatever, candles on, whatever you put inside to light it, it creates a darker shadow. And I want them nice and clean and even when it comes to that. So what I do is I measure it, I fold it, and then I'm going to just crop this a little bit. So I crop this a little bit so we can see. So then what I do is I take a sharp knife. You can use scissors, but I find a nice sharp, like this is a floral knife, and I find that these give you a nice edge. So I get it underneath that folded area, and then just slowly follow down and make sure you have a really nice crease in the paper, because that'll help the knife follow the crease all the way down. Just take it nice and slow. Go all the way down to the end, and that will cut very nicely. Set that to the side. Okay, let's go back to, we're going to go over to this camera. So then what I do is I have some tape. I normally have double-sided tape, which I couldn't find. So I'm just going to use my regular clear Scotch tape. So what I do is I line up the vase on the paper, and I line it up more towards the top, and then pull it all the way around. Now this one is going to be really close. I think if I pull it tight enough, we'll get all the way around there. So I'm finding it's pretty even. Just line it up nicely. And again, I'm going to do it towards, I think I'm going to flip this over because the clean cut edge I want on the top. Because along the bottom, it doesn't really matter. So, and I'm going to line it up against the top of the vase. This is the hard part, because you got to really pull it tight enough so it's nice and close on there. And then I just take a small piece of tape, attach it at the top. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, because if you'll notice, on some of the vases behind, I put a burlap type bow across the top of it, so that will kind of hide any bad cuts or anything if it's not cut perfectly. I'm going to go back to this one. So I have one at the top, one at the bottom. This vase isn't tall enough, but if you want, you can put one in the middle, just because when you do pull it tight, it'll hold on to it. But on the taller vases, I definitely have tape at the top and the bottom, and then pull it as tight as possible. Like I said, this one is just gonna make it. And then put it on the one side, push it as close as possible, and put that tape on there. I think this vase gets a little wider at the bottom, so there's going to be a little bit of a space on the bottom, but that doesn't matter because that's going to be put towards the back. And then one more in the middle to really hold that nice and tight. So that's what we have in regard to covered with the craft paper. And again, you don't have to do the craft paper, or you could do some type of other light wrapping paper that may have a pattern, or if you have stencils and you want to do the craft paper and just put Christmas trees or ornaments or snowflakes or whatever on there. So then what I do is I have, I'm going to show you, I'm going to get a little closer and show you this. So at Michael's, at the end of the year, after the holidays, I go in and will buy up any leftover ribbon that I really like, because this was $14.99 for it, but I think I got it for $3, $3.50 or something, because it was like 75–80% off. So if you want to save that money, go in at the end of the season and buy that, because you can save a lot of money. So then what I do is I take this around, get an even amount out there. This is not always easy to measure correctly, but I would always rather be safe than sorry, so I may measure it a little longer so that I can tie the bow properly on the front of it. Okay, so I want the bow on the opposite side of, because here's the, I'm going to turn this so, because there's the seam right there. So I want the bow on the opposite side of it. So I'm going to start by putting it exactly in half, so when I get around front, I'm not going to have any trouble tying that ribbon. And then, I put the tape away and I need tape. So then I grab a piece of tape. Again, make sure you've got it pretty much centered. And then right at that seam, that's where I tape the top of the wow, it's early. Ribbon to the top of the vase. And then I do put another little piece of, pull it around just to make it even, and pull it tight. And then I put one more piece of tape at the bottom of the ribbon. Oh, I said ribbon right this time. Great. Okay, so now what I have is the ribbon around the back. I'm going to, which one am I going to use? Oh, yeah, we're going to go ahead and use this one. So what then I do is that I tie a Tiffany bow. A Tiffany bow is just your standard bow, like tying your shoes, kind of. So really pull that tight, And you can always adjust the ribbon on the top of the vase once you get the bow completely tightened. So I do just a normal crisscross. Then I take and make a loop here, go around, push that loop through. Now this does take a little bit of adjustment because once you get it on there, because see that, I mean, that just doesn't look good. So pull the ends in, pull this end in, and then keep trying to stay out of the way of the camera and pull it in until you get, you know, a nice little knot, a pretty little knot in the front of it. And then you open these, the loops at the end. I'm going to pull these in a little bit more, make them a little smaller, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten that bow one more time and tighten that center knot down. See how nicely that locked down? So that'll stay nice and tight and tied. So then I'm going to loop, make those little loops. And then to finish this off, because these tails are a little long for me, to finish these off, I'm just going to do, now you can do a bird tail where you fold it in half. You can fold it in half and then cut it up like this, and it'll have the two little ends. I kind of like the one kind of pointy end. So there's that. So I'm going to straighten that down. And then I'm going to cut at this angle. Actually, I think I'm going to cut from the top down. So the top has the point. So it's opposite. Kind of balancing the little points of that. So there you go. So there's your luminary. I'm going to put one of these candles. I bought these last year on sale after the holidays. They're little electric candles with a little remote. So I'm going to put that in there. What I'm going to do is, turn some of the lights out and kind of show you what this is going to look like. So this is going to be the one setup I have at one of the entry doors of the party venue for our office. So you see I have 3 different sizes. These are kind of close. But again, when you're buying the set of vases or whatever, and you can do square, I have square ones, but I have more of the round ones, so I think this is going to look a little more cohesive. And then I'm just going to put a larger group together here just so you can see how pretty that is. Okay, I'm going to take the bright lights off. And I don't know, it's probably going to be difficult to see because it's dark, but as soon as I turn them on, yeah, I mean, you see that nice soft glow of the ones wrapped in paper. And then, of course, you can see some of the ones in the background, but they're really pretty. This one I like. I'm going to move over here. I have 2 candles in that because that one is much bigger. But yeah, I mean, this is such a great idea to do for the holidays. Again, if you're not in the area, if you're not in a cold area where you can make the ice lanterns, but these give you a really great other option. And then some of these vases that have the ornaments in them, I have up around the house for the holidays, so I'm just going to take them to the party and use them for tonight, and then bring them back home and put them back in place. But anyway, again, here's an idea for luminaries if you're not in a cold place to make the ice lanterns. I hope you enjoy. Have a Merry Christmas.